So, this is another Sims video. I posted my updated favorites that didn't include my Sims, which if it did, that would be my second favorite Sims game of all time still. And I really didn't do that much thinking for that list, but I mean, pets I didn't really get into, and Castaway, I mean, I played the herbs forever, you know? Like, I might even say I like Castaway and Pets better than the herbs because of the direct control, but I mean, you know, I was more hooked on the herbs. But the herbs actually leads me to one of my points for this video. And forgive me for being a little rusty with the microphone, you know, I haven't done this in a really long time. So anyway, backstory behind me getting The Sims 2. So let's start with The Sims. A good friend of mine had The Sims 2, not The Sims 2, had The Sims 1. Was it Gamecube or PS2? I don't remember which. I think it was the Gamecube. Not exactly sure, though. Yeah, I think... sorry, gonna ramble in a little bit. And I went over to his house and played it. And I fell in love with the game. So I went home and later on I rented the game for the GameCube. I think my sister had rented it before me anyway. Anyway, I got into it, and then for that Christmas, I think Christmas that year, I ended up getting it. That must have been like 03, 04. And I would say probably 03 though. Yeah, it had probably 03. Maybe I know it was a long time ago. And yeah, I fell in love with the game, and from that, you know, I ended up getting The Sims Bustin' Out. I do not have that anymore. I sold it. GameStop, they ripped me off, but who cares? There's nothing I can do about it now. Although, if I could go back in time, I'd stop myself because it's not something I wouldn't mind going back and playing. So yeah, again, I might even say I like Bustin' Out more than The Sims 1, but The Sims 1 has more nostalgia for me, and, well, I still have that, so I can go back and play it. I don't have Bustin' Out anymore. What was the next Sims game I got? I think that was it. Until, like, 05, when I rented the herbs, and I played the crud out of it, you know? I played it, and I loved it. I absolutely adored it. I think the year before my brother got the herbs for the DS, though. And, you know, that was the first one to have direct control, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, I don't know about The Sims 2 busting out, not The Sims 2, Sims busting out for the Game Boy. I don't know what that was. Never even saw it, played it or anything. Anyway, yeah, I played the herbs, you know, I talked to my friend, we were talking about it, I fell in love with it, almost beat it, you know, I rented it like 2 times, maybe even 3, probably 2, but, yeah, and then I found out The Sims 2 was coming out, so, my parents, I think I got really good grades, so they were going to buy me it, and I couldn't decide, do I want the herbs or The Sims 2, so I figured, I guess I'll just get The Sims 2, and I wasn't expecting all that much, you know, I was like, you know, the only problem is I'm not going to have any money cheat codes, and I'm going to have to wait a really long time for them to release the cheat codes, and, you know, alright, so I turn on The Sims 2, I start story mode, I make my character and start story mode, I zoom out and go, okay, let's go here, go there, and I couldn't figure it out, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm actually controlling my character, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the greatest thing ever, and then, you know, I zoomed in, I'm like, wait, what is this, and it's like, you can control your character. From that moment on, I realized that this was the greatest Sims game I have ever played. Now, that's not the only reason I like it. That is the most major reason I like it. And that's the only reason I tolerate the other games they made that have direct control, because they're not very good. This is the only good one that has it. Other than Sims 3 for the Wii. And Castaway's not bad. Pets is okay. Anyway, though, I don't remember. Although when I played Free Play, and I made my family of Tommy, Jay, Mike, I remember Jay died, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's dead! How'd that happen?" And at first, I didn't know this. I thought that you couldn't play as a character who's dead, and I was like, I didn't think you could. So every time I would save often, and I was like, that's the only flaw with the game is character dies easily, and you can't do anything about it. And then every time a character would die, I would have to quit and go back to it. Until I realized one day you could play as the ghost, and you could bring them back to life. And I was like, yeah, I just smacked my head there. Like, oh, doy. And they improved the death feature. You don't have to plead for someone to stay alive. You can fiddle around as a ghost, and then you make them come back to life. Speaking of which, they kept that in The Sims 3. You can play as the ghost and then bring him back to life. Anyway, though, yeah, it was amazing. And, yeah, Free Play, I'm not going to say it has the best Free Play, but its Free Play is pretty basic and simple, but it's down to earth and easy to take control of, and it nailed it perfectly. The only thing I would complain about is that you can make 8 families, but only 4 houses. That's not too big a deal, though. Like, unlike The Sims 1, your characters don't have to be moved in to actually be able to be your neighbors. But I think what not my favorite. My second favorite thing would probably be the clothes, the customization. As far as colors go and the availability of everything, The Sims 3 still beats it, but as far as actually putting things together, like you can actually, if you're making a suit, you can layer it. You can pick the shirt, you can pick the tie, and you can pick the jacket. Whereas in The Sims 3, it's all, together, just like in The Sims 1, only, it's more colorful. And, so the clothes, the clothes are really good. They nailed that. I don't see why they didn't do that for The Sims 3 for the Wii, but they didn't. I guess I kind of like this. You can only be adults, no elders, kids, or no aging. I like how they did that with The Sims 3 more, though, about how, you could age, but, you have kid, toddler, baby, young adult, elder, but you can turn off aging. Now, that's what I would want to see. But, yeah. Unlike the Wii. Which, speaking of which, just to bring up something, the Wii version of Sims 3 was actually the first time you could ever play as a kid in direct control. I don't know why you even care about that, but I said it, so. What I really loved about The Sims 3, not The Sims 3, The Sims 2 for the Gamecube is another thing I really loved is the story mode. Now, why it wasn't as intuitive as The Sims 1 story, where your characters could actually talk to each other, I mean, the lots were better. It was a lot easier. I never even finished The Sims 1 story. I tried to go back and play it. I couldn't even beat it. I might beat it one day, but I don't know. Sims 2 story I've beaten many times. It's a lot easier. The Sims were more interesting. The lots were a lot more interesting. Mainly because I only saw 3 in The Sims 1, but from what I heard, it doesn't get much more interesting. I mean, there were 2 alien sites. I mean, what else? I mean, there was just like everything you could possibly think of. And yeah, I mean the movie studio, I don't know, I mean cruise ship, beach house, there was a simple suburban house. There was a lot more than that, and you could unlock ones that weren't actually in the story. Oh, and the biodome. Thing is that if you're a hardcore Sims fan, if you're looking for something new, this is not something to go back and buy. If you're a Sims fan who missed the boat, and you don't care about, quality, like, as in, this was made before The Sims 3, it's not going to have all those features. If that doesn't matter to you and you just want something simple and fun, this is your game. The Sims 2, while it is masterful, it's also very simple. And The Sims 2, is, and this is going to come to a surprise to you, The Sims 2 is my favorite GameCube game of all time. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And by thinking, well, Mario game's not your favorite, and just to really throw you off, my second favorite GameCube game is Animal Crossing. Yeah, I know that. But yeah, The Sims 2 for the console. I have played it for the PS2. It's not as good for the PS2. I'm serious. It's not bad. I mean, it's not like it's so much worse that you wouldn't even want it, but it's not quite as good, you know. I never found a Maxwell Motive cheat codes for it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It might be out there. But yeah, my friend that inspired me to go out and get The Sims 1, I inspired him to go out and get The Sims 2. Although he got The Sims 2 Pets before me. And I don't know about Castaway. Anyway, I would say that another thing about The Sims 2 is for the PS2, I don't know if a second player in story mode can make their own sim, and that's something I really liked. You know, I would always start the game with 2 players, that way I could make 2 sims, or if my friend's with me, he'd make a sim too, just so I could have 2 sims. But that was a really cool feature. That's another thing The Sims 3 took out that they really shouldn't have, and that was multiplayer. The Sims 3 for the Wii does have multiplayer, however, it bites. It's terrible. If you've played it, I mean, it's not bad, but it's nothing special. I mean, you don't even get to play with each other. You go through some life story thing, making decisions. You don't even get to play The Sims with another person. I mean, I don't see why that's so bad. Maybe they don't like split screen anymore. I don't know. What I did like about The Sims 2 is the aspirations. And this is what the PC version didn't have. I like that creativity aspiration. That was my favorite out of all the aspirations and lifetime achievement goals. That is my favorite. But yeah, speaking of which, I think it was about the summer of 2006 when I decided I wanted The Sims 2 for the PC, so I ended up getting it. And I got The Sims 2 for the PC probably more than a half of a year later, even though that had been out for like 2 years. And I ended up getting, and that broke, and I ended up getting another version of it that had nightlife in it. And all right, I'm rambling. Yeah. And yes, to this day, I still play this game. I will still go back. And the problem with this game is, it has a few minor flaws, but the biggest problem with this game, and I am serious to you, this may make you not even want to play this game. The biggest problem with this game is that it is too good. And I am serious. That is the worst thing about this game. It is just too fun, too good, and I will tell you why. This rose my expectations for every console Sims game afterwards. It has never even come close. The Sims 3 for the Xbox, yeah, it came a little close. But that's as close as it's ever gotten. If that had direct control, I probably would have, not for sure, but I might have liked it more. But no, it is a pretty distant second favorite of mine. Yes, I do recommend checking this out. Now you know why I love this game so much. Thanks for listening.